Page 47. We're in the middle of a Melacha of Kosher, tying. So we said last time that the double knot, according to many, is Maaseh Uman, is already considered a professional knot. And we said if it's professional knot, even though it doesn't last a long time, Asur Midarabanan. If it lasts a long time, past 7 days, but it's not a professional knot, it's still Asur Midarabanan. And the Deoraita is the two conditions together. It's a professional knot, and it's going to last for a long time. So, number 8, an overhand knot made by tying a string onto itself has the same status as a double knot. So even if you take one string and tie it in a knot by itself, that's also considered a knot. 9, one may not add a knot or tighten a knot which is meant to remain for more than 7 days. That's why we're tying, even though the tzitzit, right? You're not tying a new knot, you're just tightening it. That's also asur because of kosher. 10, this is what we spoke about yesterday. A person should not tie a garbage bag with a double knot, since you do not have intention to untie the knot that you tied. So therefore it's going to stay for a long time. Okay. 12. If one had an explicit intention to never untie a double knot that you're tying, you may not untie the knot on Shabbat. So here, what happened? Someone took a bag and tied this bag double knot. And their intention was never to open it. So now untying this would be asur, because to tie this knot is asur. So untying that type of knot is also asur. It's matir. So therefore, if you can't tie it, you can't untie it. 13. If one made a weak knot and afterwards the knot became tightened, he may untie it on Shabbat, since his original intention was not to be a strong knot. 14. Preferably one should not tie a knot with a bow on top, even if his original intention was it should remain that way for more than 7 days. So he said that's why the shoelaces, preferably shoelaces, you should untie them if you untie them after on Shabbat. But if you leave them like that till the next time you wear them, according to some, it's already asur. 15. One may make a bow or tie 2 strings together without making a double knot. If his intention is, it shouldn't remain like that. Even if his intention is, it should remain like that more than 7 days. 18. A knot which is rabbinically forbidden to be tied may be untied by a non-Jew on Shabbat if he's in pain. 19. One may untie a knot for food purposes, such as untying a package that has food in it. However, if the knot was tied tightly, he should cut the knot instead of untying it. Plastic ties, such as zip ties or cable ties, may be used on Shabbat. That's not a knot, right? Some people, you have those zip ties, you just pull it through the loop and you make it tight. It's not a real knot, halachically, so therefore you're allowed to use them on Shabbat. Twist ties, on the bottle of champagne or on the bag of the challah, they have those twist ties, right? Those are allowed to be untied and tied on Shabbat because you're not really making a tie. What are you doing? You're just twisting. It's just wrapping on itself. It's not a tie. Okay, 22. One may tie his shoes on Shabbat. Since generally a knot, this kind of knot is meant to be untied after Shabbat. 23. One may tie a necktie on Shabbat if your intention is to untie it within 7 days. So I know some people, they make ties. They wear ties every day to work. So they make ties and they make it nice one time. And then they just loosen it and close it, loosen it, and they just hang it like that, already tied, So let's say it comes undone on Shabbat, or you redo it on Shabbat, then you wouldn't be allowed to leave it for like that till the next time, just like by the shoes. Because it has to be, your intention is to untie it within 7 days. Tying with your left hand is not considered shinui. It's not considered a valid shinui. Okay, let's do Melacha 23. Melacha Tofer. Yeah, Tofer is sewing. And the Mishkan sewing was required in order to sew the cloth coverings in the Mishkan together and to fix them if they were damaged. Sewing 2 needle penetrations with the thread being knotted at the end is considered tofer. So you went once and twice, that's already considered sewing. Okay, fine. The Melacha of Tofer includes things related to Tofer. What's Tofer? Sewing 2 things together. What if I glue them together? What if I do not exactly sewing, but things that make things stick together? That's also, we're going to see, is under the Melacha of Tofer. Number 1, one may not tighten a loose thread that is combining 2 parts of a garment. Number 2, a button that became loose on Shabbat may not be tightened on Shabbat, and you cannot wrap an extra string around it to strengthen it. Number 3, it is permitted to tighten a drawstring such as the kind found on the hood of a sweater or a garbage bag, meaning you're allowed to pull them. You're not allowed to either make a knot, but you're allowed to pull them, even though it makes the 2 things come together. Okay, 4, gluing and taping that is meant to be temporary is permitted if you can detach it without tearing the surfaces. For example, the used to be now that it's Velcro, but used to be there was diapers that had glue. They had glue on it to stick to the tab. Those should not be used, preferably not be sealed before disposal, right? Because when you throw out, when you throw out the diaper, if you closed it, you glued those two pieces together, and then it stays like that forever. But today, it's more common to have tabs made of Velcro, which is permitted to be sealed even before the disposing of the diaper. There's no need to be stringent. Number 5, it is prohibited to tape two things together with scotch tape or a sticker, or taping a paper to a wall. Let's say a guy has a paper of a flyer or a shiur, and he wants to put it up on Shabbat with tape. It's asur. Even if you have the tape prepared from before Shabbat, and you would just have to stick it on, it will be asur. However, it is permitted to use post-it notes or stickers. They're designed in a way they should be easily removed on Shabbat, can be used on Shabbat, provided that you don't leave it there extended period of time. Some people have these place markers, right? And they want a bookmark with a sticker. That's allowed to be used on Shabbat. Those things are meant to be used as temporary. But if you use them for permanent, then that's not allowed. Some people, they like to have where Baruch Shamar is, where Yishtabach is, where Shema is. So if he puts it on Shabbat and he leaves it there forever, he's never going to change it. So that would be not allowed on Shabbat. Number 6, if possible, when placing a Band-Aid onto one skin on Shabbat, one should be careful not to attach both sides to each other. And instead, each side should be attached directly to the skin. So if you're going in a complete circle, you're taping two sides of the Band-Aid to each other. So what you should do is one end should be here and one end should be there. That way they're both on the skin and not on each other. 7, you're allowed to use saran wrap to wrap something on Shabbat, even though you have intention for it to stay that way forever. But to cut, we're going to learn that cutting saran wrap is not allowed on Shabbat, and cutting bounty on Shabbat is not allowed, even if there's no perforation. It's a sur. We're going to learn it's because it's a tikkun kli midarabanan. Okay. 8, you're allowed to use a magnet on Shabbat, even if it will remain on the surface for an extended period of time. Number 9, according to many poskim, it is asur to stick an item that has a suction cup attached to it onto a surface on Shabbat. Interesting. Some mahmir by the suction cup. Okay, one more. 10, buttoning a garment is not considered tofer, because that's a normal way to use it's meant to be open and closed. Anything that's meant to be open and closed is not considered sewing. Sewing is meant to be closed, and that's it. You leave it there forever. So therefore, buttons are allowed to be buttoned, and it's not considered tofer. This is also the case with the zipper. You're allowed to use a zipper. It's also meant to be open and closed. That's why also 11, Velcro. Using Velcro to fasten an item is not considered tofer because the surfaces are designed to be pressed together and pulled apart like a regular use. Baruch Me'olam. Amen.